Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's project is part of the A Cherry on Top YouTube Hop. This is the month of May and the theme is food, which leaves a very broad range of interpretation. I thought about two separate projects because I always like to do a little bit outside the box because I just want to provide you with another aspect of an inspirational challenge. Because of course you can always scrap about going to restaurants, your favorite foods, things like that, and do it in a photo and paper crafting project. But I was leaning towards more, because I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube of starting, and I kind of have a starting, of a glue book. And the premise of a glue book is to use any book you have right now. So it's not to go buy a new, journal or notebook or anything else. It could be an old planner. And you glue magazine images. Some people do this like a rainbow color, like they have just red images and orange images and etc. It's also like seen, like they call them in moss, where it's just like a page, an open spread just of like stamps or just watches or something, where you just collect certain images. So I thought about doing that because certainly I cut a lot of food images out. And I thought, let me do a page and start, just do a page in here. This is my, an art journal, and call it my glue book. And I was like, I could, but I would have to start, going through all of my magazine images. And I was like, wait, let's think of something else. So then I came across an Instagram feed. Believe it or not, he's an art teacher at a school. And he recently put a reel out where he taught his kids how to do they were doing fast food collages. And I love the idea. So in essence, he had his students draw out an image. So here's my little cheeseburger, french fries, and a drink. And then he made them, the students cut out these images so that they were traceable, and then be able to pull it together, and knowing that you had to start with the background paper and your tablecloth paper as your first layers, because then these all layer on top of each other. And I just watched a 60-second reel and I thought it was fantastic. And I was like, and it's food. And he showed all these examples of an ice cream sundae and eggs and bacon, morning. But the whole cheeseburger and french fries spoke to me because, believe it or not, this is my favorite food. When push come to shove, Miguel asked me, hey Ty, what do you want for dinner? Let me pick up. It's always a cheeseburger. It's always a cheeseburger from somewhere. So we're working in this. It's 10 by 10. I don't know the brand. It's just kind of Master's Touch. It's like marker paper. What do they call it? But it's thick. It's real thick, which is why I've been going in it. And honestly, I've been kind of just favoring the one side versus both. So we're just doing it on one side. I have this scratch piece of paper that I was sketching on to get my shapes. And then I just kind of collected a bunch of scrapbook papers. Now in his example, he made his students paint paper to get all the colors they need. So, for the burger bun, they made the kids paint brown on a paper. And then for the cheese, obviously an orange yellow. So in my creative head, I was thinking, well, for YouTube, I got to use supplies, and I could do inexpensive craft paints and stuff and paint paper. But I decided to go through my scrapbooking stash, and I pulled out this wood grain, honestly, for the bun. We're going to make the bun from this. I just used this one on a cut file. It's from the Cowgirl collection. This is just a great brown, and I like the texture, and that'll be the burger patties. So that's my dark brown and my bread. And then from the Bold and Bright paper pad, I've used it a couple times, but there are orangey sheets and some reds and greens for lettuce, and then we got to find white for the plate. But honestly, because there's all these colors, right? And I was like, okay, there's my yellowy golden french fry color, and then for this side that could be the fry box. Here's the green for quote unquote lettuce, and I can do it even on this side and have the stars. So I was like, what, this is the paper pad to use. And then even from here too, to pick your wallpaper and your tablecloth, there was one page that I was like, oh, and it's already split down the middle. Perfect. It was this one. We're going to use this as my base. Okay, you can see how that's going to come together, and then the fries and stuff will be on top. So here's your tablecloth, and here's the, the wallpaper. So we're going to use that, and we're going to do a little fun little evening collaging. This can be lettuce. It's a great green, right? Is it different than the other green back here? It's a little lighter. So yeah, I can even make it like pickles, you know? We'll do stuff. So we are doing a collage, a fast food cheeseburger. In fact, we're gonna see how this comes. This may be a complete, you know, just not good, but it could actually turn out really cute, because if his little students can do it at school, then gosh darn it, we can too, you know? So let's get started. I'm gonna put this down and then we're gonna start cutting out all the shapes I need. Okay, everyone, so let's get started. Now, this is obviously me doing a voiceover after I've completed my project, and just to foreshadow, this turned out so good. This turned out so good. If there's a project I can highly recommend someone do, is simply do this. It seems very, like I said, it was an art teacher at an elementary school. So it does seem like a kiddie project, but you know what? I want to recreate this with every kind of food dish ever. This is so good. So you see, I have my like loose sketch. And now having a loose sketch, it isn't required, but it does definitely help, because that's how we kind of showed it with his kids doing it. So I'm first cutting out like my little French fry box shape that I kind of loosely drew there. That's going to be tucked behind the burger itself. So I made it a little bit wider so that it does get tucked, and cut out that shape, put it to the side. You saw me already cut out the top of the burger bun. So we're going to use that little wonky oval shape, and we're going to cut it out. Before I took this paper to the side though, since it was red, I was just like, let me do a few of these like little oblong, little rounded pieces. Those are going to be future tomatoes. Here I am doing the burger bun, and then I go ahead and cut the bottom of the burger too, just so I can get the basic shape of how wide it has to be. Not that, again, if you freehand cut it out too, it could be a little bit more quote unquote, you know, I'm doing like a little bunny ears, you know, more abstract, because they're not all going to line up. But if you cut out your little drawing like I did, and I just did a couple of layers for cheese, lettuce, and a meat patty, and a cheese, lettuce, and a, you know, meat patty, the shapes were easy enough. They all had a little bit of a bend. They were all about 1 inch thick. And so I'm using this paper I cut out because it just had a textured brown. And I was like, that I told you that, like, that's the burger patty right there. That's the burger patty. This was so, like I said, good. Like I almost need to pull out my, so I just put my daughter to bed to do this project. And then I was doing it myself. It took about 45 minutes of video footage to be edited down. It was 45 minutes. You guys, this is very much a doable project if you have an hour's time. Like, granted, okay, not everyone has an hour. Don't come for me, but doable. So here I am with the French fries. I was like, oh, this page, I was like, should I just cut it like freehand? And I thought about just doing freehand to make them all irregular. But I was like, nah, let me just slice it down with my paper cutter. So that's what I did. And I even took, you see the one with the hole, it's like the top branding strip that I make it work too. And then I use the same one that I have for like the little bit more crispier fries as my like little cheese layer. And I just created like a cheese by doing like a little point as if the cheese was melting over the edge. You know, is it completely realistic? No, folks, but it is just a composition and a composition of shapes that I was able to kind of make out from doing a light loose drawing of a cheeseburger. like honestly, even doing this voiceover, this was a fun project. I'm just gonna tell you, this is a fun project. I can even see this because a lot of, now that I've been looking at these collage projects, you know, people do beautiful like art, floral bouquets. People do this sort of thing to create like realistic birds and do like their feathers or all these different colored wings and stuff. So this is definitely something, because of the large scrapbooking paper collection that I have, that could actually be quite fun, you guys, quite fun. So here I am. And then this was another scrap. I used it for a recent cut file, and I was like, oh, I need a plate, and I just cut out like a white plate real quick from that. Because I live amongst my scraps. My craft room is usually a straight up disaster. Like, don't come in here as the cleaning police. It's always a mess, and I work right on top of it. And so you can see, even when I cut down things, as I start like auditioning out my layers, I'm like, okay, like something seems to be a little bit trimmed. It's hanging over too much. But look how, you see how the vision is? It's just like little shapes, little layers just made of the little pickles. And you guys, look, right there, I was already like, oh my God, I freaking love this project. Like, already I was like, oh, okay. And so here I am just cutting down some of the sticks for the fries so that they get tucked behind that little red, cardboard, red box for the fries that we are making there, and I just have 2 tones of fries. You could have just used the yellow, Perfectly doable, but I just kind of used a yellow and like a little orangey one. And then I was like, oh, okay, let me start adhering it into the book. And I was like, you know what, with this little, glue removery thingy, I was like, let me not work inside the book yet. Let me just work on it as a 10 by 10, because it's 10 by 10 piece of paper outside of the book before I get all started, because I just didn't want the extra problem of working in the book. So I just worked on it flat. Do that as well before you adhere it into the book. And this is even something, so think about it. When we have our Dina Wakley ones too, and they're that change in mediums, it goes from like a burlap to a canvas. Doing something like this on a separate piece of paper, you've seen me do it too, and then stapling it onto those pages that are a little bit more difficult for you to work on is also key. So do something like this. Make a ice cream cone or a banana split kind of sundae on a piece of paper that fits into your book, and then just staple it into those hard to work on pages. Just food for thought, because it's something that I was thinking too. I was like, oh, I can do this size, and I do believe that size is 8 by 10. So this one's 10 by 10, so it's a little bigger. And so here I am, and don't get me wrong, I thought I paused for a moment there while I was refilling my ATG gun, and I was like, oh, should I use a glue stick, or should I just be using ATG, runner tape? And I was just like, no, and because I looked around, I was like, if I start using a glue stick, that glue is going to be everywhere, and then I need a surface to rub the glue stick on. I was like, we're just using our double-sided tape. That we're not making it complicated. And so, yeah, look at me, just clustering it up, doing a little overlap, doing a little diagonal, doing a little, and I hit my camera there for a moment, and that's how simple it had to be. Now, don't get me wrong, someone that's a little OCD or a little bit more on the perfectionist side, this might not be for you, because my sister is, and she would have a heart attack knowing that my plate right now, you see how like the top part is all wonky, like she would have a conniption if it wasn't like already a perfect oblong circle. So these are probably events, projects to do to break your perfectionist mindset or like OCD-ness, because it's meant to be a little bit wonky. It's meant to be a little bit playful. It's meant not to be perfect. And I think that's why it sings to me, because I'm not OCD. I found this very enjoyable. Like, my sister probably couldn't do this right now, but granted, it'd probably be so good for her brain to take a break from being so perfect. But yeah, look how fun. Like, and even then I was just like, okay, I got a little stuck, and I was like, it doesn't seem quite right. Do I need to add something? And I think more because, it was getting me, because most of them, I had like this little like bow in the shape, and I think the lettuce, I did it too flat. My lettuce, you hear me? The little light green pieces was too like straight. It wasn't bowed, and I was like, oh, I have to create that shape again. So, yeah, see, it's not perfect, but I was like, you know what, we're making it work, and this tomato's not perfect, and, I didn't even know I had, and actually, I don't actually prefer tomato in my burgers, but we were adding red to it, and here's my little layer of, like, pickles, and I do love some pickles, and then here I was like, oh, it's too round, it'll hide the pickles, and I straightened out my burger bun a little bit. Like, this was fun. If I can recommend anything, this was fun. And so here I am, I was like, what am I going to use for a drink? And in the kids had done like watercolor paper, so they had like this little kind of almost like an alcohol ink wash. I happened to find this scrapbooking paper that was like a galaxy one, and I was like, you know what, that works. That kind of looks like some sparkling water, something that I would drink. So we're going to make that the liquid in the cup. And so here I am making a straw now on the red paper still. Is it perfect? No. But then I had to figure out how to get it to look like it was in the cup, so I used my X-Acto knife, and you'll see it in a moment, to kind of poke a hole so that it looks like in the water / liquid, and then do a double hole or slice in the cup where it looks like it's in the cup and then into the liquid. So it was a little hard for me to figure out too, and I had to take a Sharpie and kind of just do that what is this circle to make it look like it's dimensional, and holding liquid. I did it in Sharpie. It's fine. I don't know if they had any Sharpie on theirs. I couldn't remember. But I was like, it has to look look at me. It has to look a little bit real. So here I am like, okay, that looks good. And now how do I incorporate the top of the glass? You see, so I was like, oh, I have to cut a hole at the top rim. And then I did. And then I was like, oh, but then it just looks like it's not right. Yes, it looks. I did it once. And I was like, no, that's not right. See, so I needed a double one. So it took a little auditioning there. But guys, such a fun project. And I'm going to do it again for other things. Like, really, I'm going to make pizza next. I'm going to make bacon and eggs. And I'm going to do flowers. And I'm going to start having a whole collaging channel. That's it. I've changed genres of crafting. no, this was just really fun, you guys, and you'll see it again on my channel for sure. It was fun. Fun. Okay, everyone, that's it. Isn't it so cute? You guys, it turned out so good. So there is my little foodie collage made out of scrapbooking papers. Finding this one too was great. This was, I forgot what paper collection this was, but it, you know, looked like bubbly water kind of thing, you know, like so good. So this will adhere in here. But you know what? I was going to photograph it in the book, but I think I'll photograph it like alone like this, and then I'll adhere it in here so that it fits perfectly. Please hop along to everyone along in the YouTube hop. I will leave it linked in the description box down below. Tons of inspiration, scrapbooking, card making. Yeah, there was a fun card that I know I saw. So tons of inspiration. I hope I am a project a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but definitely give it a try. This took me, you know, maybe less than an hour, but it was totally fun cutting this out. It was definitely a nice brain break, you know, and just making it fun. I might give this might become a series on my channel, because this was really fun. Maybe the next time I'll try pizza or like breakfast foods. Thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, everyone.